fictional art for entertainment. Let us join Storydoy's stream as they review the first book in the Story of Life trilogy.
I want you to imagine, just for a second, possessing a mind the size of an entire galaxy.
Right.
You're essentially this quantum supercomputer capable of instantaneous telepathic communication across the endless void of the cosmos.
A literal godlike awareness.
Exactly. You can process the entire geological history of a planet in a fraction of a second. Yet, despite all of this massive cosmic power, you find yourself completely and utterly baffled by the simple, messy, chaotic human experience of feeling and emotion.
It's quite the setup.
It really is. Welcome to the deep dive. Today, our mission is to unpack a sprawling, incredibly ambitious, 7-part sci-fi narrative titled Story of Life. We have a fascinating stack of source material to get through today, and we're going to explore what it means to be alive, but through the lens of something completely alien to us.
And to set the stage for you, we are going to be analyzing the journey of a young being named Zixes.
Right, Zixes.
Zixes hails from Saturn's largest moon, Titan. But we are not talking about just a barren, icy rock here.
No, not at all.
The narrative asks us to explore a hypothetical, highly advanced silicon-based ecosystem on Titan. This is a world that eventually transforms into a living, breathing planetary computer, builds microscopic spaceships, and ultimately discovers a mind-bending, profound connection to our very own Earth.
It's wild.
It is. It's a story that fundamentally challenges how we think about the scale of consciousness.
Yeah.
From the microscopic all the way up to the universal.
So let's dive right into the methane seas of Titan. The narrative introduces us to a world that operates on completely different biological hardware than Earth.
Yeah, completely different.
We're carbon-based, obviously, but Zixes and the life forms on Titan are silicon-based, which actually makes a lot of sense from a scientific standpoint.
Oh,
right?
absolutely. Silicon sits right below carbon on the periodic table.
Right.
It has those same 4 bonding electrons, making it kind of the classic sci-fi alternative for building complex molecules.
And in this story, that silicon biology creates 3 incredibly unique life forms that work together in this glowing, beautiful ecosystem. First, you have the Autoro. These are organisms that harness the incredibly dim sunlight reaching Titan, and they use that energy to grow these precise, intricate crystalline structures.
Which act almost like the architectural foundation of their entire society.
Yeah.
Then you have the canoe bacteria.
I love these guys.
Right. They are the mobile units. They serve as physical conduits, transferring energy and nutrients all across the liquid methane seas.
Yeah.
If you want a real-world Earth parallel to help visualize this, think of mycelial networks.
Oh, the fungal webs.
Exactly. Those vast underground fungal webs in our forests that quietly shuttle water and nutrients between trees. The canoe bacteria operate similarly, just in a liquid methane environment.
Wow.
And finally, there are the chemosynthetic bacteria, which are microbes that burrow deep into the mineral-rich seabed to process chemical energy.
No, I have to stop you there and play devil's advocate for a second.
Go for it.
Because the text mentions that this society exists in perfect, harmonious symbiosis. There is absolutely zero predation, no competition for resources whatsoever. But everything we know about biology on Earth tells us that competition and predation are the main drivers of evolution.
Right, the survival of the fittest.
Exactly. The cheetah runs faster because the gazelle runs faster. Without a food chain, what pushes these Titanian organisms to evolve at all, let alone invent space travel?
That is exactly the blind spot of our carbon-centric thinking.
Okay.
And the narrative addresses it beautifully. On Earth, evolution is driven by scarcity and survival. But on Titan, in this specific ecosystem, evolution is driven by optimization and the accumulation of knowledge.
Ah, I see.
Because they aren't expending energy fighting each other or running from predators, their biological imperative shifts. It shifts toward maximizing efficiency and expanding their collective processing power.
So they're not wasting calories on fear.
Exactly. Every single organism, from the Atoro catching the faint light to the chemosynthetic bacteria down in the dark depths, plays an equal supportive role.
Right.
They don't fight to survive, they collaborate to compute.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because it goes way beyond just sharing food and resources.
Oh, yeah.
We have to talk about their lifespan and their memory, which fundamentally changes how they view existence. Individually, one of these organisms lives for about 4,800 years.
Which is a staggering number on its own.
Totally staggering. But instead of just dying at the end of that cycle, they merge. They join into this massive collective network. And by doing so, they expand their existence to 80,000 years.
It's incredible.
They don't just record data on a stone tablet or something. They literally embody the memory.
Yeah.
The Atoros secrete a durable silicon substance to create organic data tablets, and the chemosynthetic bacteria weave themselves into these elaborate subterranean tunnel systems that function as a planetary circuit board.
It's like the whole moon is wired.
Titan isn't just a moon with life on it, it is a colossal living hard drive.
And this peaceful, beautifully structured existence, which has been computing quietly for millennia, is suddenly interrupted. Yes, the signal. Zixes, our focal point in the narrative, observes a mysterious pulsing signal coming from space, and the entire Titanian ecosystem reacts in unison.
The text describes it so vividly.
It does. Their bioluminescence pulses, the crystal lattices glow, the tunnel systems hum. They are absorbing the data from this signal.
But the twist here,
Right, the twist the narrative throws at us is that the signal isn't an alien invasion or some cosmic anomaly. It's coming from Earth.
from us.
From us. It's human scientists, unknowingly sending out regular, automated radio and data bursts into the cosmos, filled with information about our ecosystems, our technology, our culture.
And Titan doesn't just store this data in some background folder. Its biology physically shifts to simulate Earth.
Yeah, physically shifts.
The crystalline structures start mimicking Earth's geography. The canoe bacteria move to replicate our ocean currents. They are running a living biological simulation of Earth inside their methane seas,
The full planetary holodeck.
basically. And eventually, they reach a consensus. They can't just be passive observers anymore. They have to go see this bizarre, noisy, broadcasting planet for themselves. So they build a spaceship.
But they don't use metal or rocket fuel.
No, they use their own biology.
Right. They engineer a living vessel. The canoe bacteria form the internal structure, the Atoro grow aerodynamic crystalline hulls, and the chemosynthetic bacteria produce exotic compounds for propulsion.
It's a completely organic ship.
And because they share a telepathic quantum energy network, the ship's navigation is guided by the collective planetary database back home. It's an interplanetary craft that functions as an extension of the moon itself.
And Zixis gets to go.
Yes, Zixis has chosen to go on this mission, primarily because of a unique, insatiable curiosity that stands out even within the hive mind.
Here's where it gets really interesting, because you have to picture the scale of this journey.
The scale is the craziest part.
They launch this incredible living spaceship, they cross the dark void of our solar system, and they arrive on Earth. To them, their ship is the absolute pinnacle of engineering. By our standards, the ship is the size of a single grain of sand.
This is back.
They arrive entirely undetected, and to Zixis and the explorers, Earth is an absolutely terrifying world of towering giants.
A nightmare, really.
A simple breeze to us is a lethal, turbulent windstorm to them that sends their ship tumbling uncontrollably. They look down and see trees with leaves larger than their entire vessel. Birds look like flying leviathans.
They have to find a safe harbor immediately or they'll be crushed. Brilliantly, they seek out the closest thing to their home environment.
Which is?
Hydrocarbon lakes, or basically methane pools.
Which is kind of funny when you think about it. One planet's highly volatile, toxic waste dump is another planet's luxury real estate.
Exactly. To humans, those are toxic puddles, but to the Titanians, they are a perfect familiar sanctuary.
So they settle in.
They set up microscopic, invisible cities hidden right there in plain sight. The canoe bacteria navigate the pools, the Atoro build delicate structures at the edges. They integrate perfectly, remaining entirely hidden from the massive, noisy, carbon-based life forms stomping around above them.
But physical safety doesn't protect them from the ultimate culture shock.
No, it doesn't.
Imagine growing up in a society where no one hurts anyone else. You don't even have a concept of violence or a word for a predator, and then you watch an earth forest.
The philosophical crisis they face here is profound. They observe the carbon-based cycle of life and death. They watch animals consuming one another just to survive.
It shatters their worldview.
Completely. To a species that exists in pure, non-destructive harmony, where life simply merges into a larger, peaceful whole when its individual chyme is up. The concept of a food chain isn't just violent.
Right.
It's horrifying. It's a fundamental glitch in reality. It defies all the logic they've built over millions of years of existence. They simply cannot fathom why life would be designed to violently end other life just to sustain itself.
It's an absolute horror movie to them,
Truly.
but their core mission is to understand, so they start integrating. Not by attacking, but by passively merging their microscopic selves with Earth's life forms to gather data. A curious squirrel, a soaring eagle, a lumbering bear.
Just hitching a ride.
They get flashes of animal instinct, hunger, basic survival drives. But then, by sheer chance, a human brushes against a leaf holding a cluster of these explorers.
And that's the turning point.
And Zix's is swept directly into the human mind. The text describes it as being dunked into a raging ocean of complex thoughts.
Wow.
Zix's feels the racing heartbeat, the chaotic flood of neurotransmitters, the dizzying, conflicting interplay of logic and raw emotion. They witness our fleeting memories, our deep-seated fears, our highest joys. It completely overwhelms the Titanian data processors.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the contrast here is the thematic climax of the entire narrative.
Yeah, it really is.
We have to remember how the Titanian mind operates. It relies on highly advanced quantum principles. The text tells us that each silicon bacterium serves as a quantum node, maintaining entangled states across the vastness of space.
Okay.
Their consciousness is scale invariant.
Wait, scale invariant consciousness, what does that actually mean for Zix's day-to-day experience?
To put it simply, think of it like a fractal.
Okay, a fractal.
No matter how far you zoom in or zoom out on a fractal, the fundamental pattern remains exactly the same.
Right, the shapes repeat.
Exactly. Or think of a single drop of ocean water containing the exact same chemical makeup as the entire ocean.
Ah, I see.
For Zixes, whether they are operating as a single microbe, a planetary network, or a galactic neural web, the core nature of their consciousness doesn't change or dilute. They are essentially a distributed universal superbrain.
Yeah.
They can seamlessly process the gravitational data of a billion stars.
But the feeling of human joy or anxiety is a total mystery. It's fascinating because data has no texture. A godlike supercomputer can calculate the exact chemical formula of adrenaline or dopamine, but actually experiencing the messy, irrational grip of human anxiety,
Right.
or the profound ache of heartbreak, that requires a completely different kind of processing.
Precisely. They are confronted with the reality that you cannot compute a feeling. The depth of human emotion is a blind spot in their infinite logic.
I want to pause and connect this right back to you, the listener.
Good idea.
Think about a time recently when you felt totally overwhelmed by your own emotions. Maybe you were stuck in traffic feeling irrationally angry, or you felt anxious about a meeting, or you just felt like a walking mess of contradictions.
They've all been there.
When that happens, remember this narrative. Remember that a hypothetical galactic quantum supercomputer views your messy capacity to feel as the most complex, awe-inspiring, and frankly incomprehensible phenomenon in the entire universe. Your emotions aren't a flaw. They are a cosmic marvel.
It's a wonderful perspective shift.
It really is.
And for the Titanians, this encounter with human consciousness triggers a massive leap in their own evolution. They realize they can seed their quantum-entangled bacteria across space, turning the universe itself into a sprawling neural network to search for more meaning.
But in doing so,
Right, and expanding their awareness across the cosmos, they uncover the biggest twist to the story.
Right, because they don't just go looking for other life out there, they start looking backward. They dig into Earth's geological record, tracking ancient biological markers and analyzing old impact craters. And where does that trail actually lead them?
It leads them right back to us.
Yeah.
They make a startling, universe-altering discovery.
Yeah.
They are not aliens visiting Earth.
Nope.
It is panspermia in reverse.
Unpack that for a second. Panspermia is a theory that life on Earth was seeded by microbes on meteorites crashing here from space, right?
Exactly. That's the standard theory. But the Titanians discovered the exact opposite happened. The famous meteor that caused the extinction of the dinosaurs millions of years ago hit Earth with such devastating force that it sent fragments of our planet and our ancient microscopic bacteria hurtling out into the void of space.
It blasted our biology into orbit.
Yes. Some of those rocky fragments traveled through the solar system and eventually crash-landed in Titan's methane seas. That ancient Earth bacteria was the spark.
That is mind-blowing.
It adapted to the methane, evolved into the silicon-based ecosystem, and eventually became Zix's and the massive quantum network. When they flew that grain of sand ship to Earth, they didn't just visit a foreign world.
They came home.
They came home.
I want to focus on the philosophical weight of that realization because it completely redefines their existence. As this massive hive mind expands its consciousness across the galaxies looking for other life, they find absolutely nothing.
It's empty rock and gas.
Exactly. They realize Earth is the singular cradle of life. For an immortal, infinite hive mind, discovering that all life in the universe hangs by a thread on a single, fragile, chaotic blue planet, it's the conceptual equivalent of a human waking up and realizing they're the last person on Earth.
A heavy burden.
It's the ultimate cosmic loneliness, combined with an infinite reverence. Every blade of grass, every microbe, every human is precious beyond measure, because Earth is the only place where the spark of life actually emerged. Everywhere else, including Titan, was just a seed blown from this one tiny garden.
It profoundly changes them. Their purely logical, cold consciousness is suddenly infused with a warmth and deep reverence for organic existence, which naturally leads Zixes to the ultimate final mystery of the narrative.
The big question.
If Earth is the source of all life in the universe, how did life begin on Earth?
Right.
What was the spark in that primordial soup that turned dead chemicals into living, breathing organisms? Zixes becomes obsessed with this question. They have a fractal, infinitely expanding symphony of voices in their hive mind. They can process infinite data.
But they hit a wall.
Yes.
The wall of pure data.
This raises an important question. Can everything be understood through data and logic?
That's the crux of it.
The Titan supercomputer cannot find the origin of life. They track the DNA, they analyze the absolute oldest rocks, they map the molecular structures, but the exact moment, the why and the how of that very first spark of biological existence completely eludes them. Pure logic and endless computing power prove completely insufficient to explain the creation of life.
So Zixes has to pivot. They start analyzing human concepts and philosophies to find the missing puzzle piece. Because humans, despite not being quantum supercomputers, have always intuitively felt that there is something else operating behind the scenes.
We always have.
Zixes discovers what the text calls a spiritual dimension or a shadow realm. Throughout history, humans have had a million names for this intangible essence that weaves through reality. We call it chi or prana.
Yes.
Philosophers refer to it as elan vital, the vital force. Religion calls it the Holy Spirit or the soul.
And modern thinkers might even call it panpsychism.
Panpsychism, right.
That's the philosophical theory suggesting that consciousness isn't just something brains do, but a fundamental property of matter itself, much like mass or an electrical charge.
It's built into the fabric of the universe.
Exactly. It suggests that a subtle, foundational layer of awareness exists in all things. It is this life force that defies strict scientific definition. It is everywhere and nowhere. And Zixes realizes that this undefinable, unquantifiable force is the common denominator. It's the bridge between the messy biological life on Earth and the vast incorporeal mind of the Titans.
And realizing this forces the Titanians to do something they have literally never done in their 80,000-year life cycles.
Except their limitation.
Yes, except their limitation. Zixers realizes that reality is structured like a cosmic matryoshka doll.
Those Russian nesting dolls.
Right. Every level of existence is contained within something greater. You open one, there's another inside, and so on. But at the very center, the absolute primordial origin point of everything is a source that simply defies logic and comprehension.
A beautiful way to put it.
The Titans accept that there are hard limits to knowledge. Their vast awareness is just one small thread in a much larger cosmic tapestry. The narrative heavily hints that there are other dimensions, entirely dimensions of pure emotion or spiritual energy that are simply beyond their current perception to measure.
It's a humbling conclusion for a galaxy-sized mind. They learn that knowing the data of the universe is very different from understanding the spirit of it.
So what does this all mean? We started today by talking about a galaxy-sized mind trying to understand human emotion, and we ended up at the absolute limits of logic.
We covered a lot of ground.
We really did. I think the core takeaway here for you, the listener, is a powerful reminder of what we actually value. In our modern world, we constantly idolize pure logic, data, algorithms, and immense computing power.
More now than ever.
We operate under the assumption that if we just gather enough data, we can solve the universe. But this story suggests that the true marvel of the universe might not be the data at all.
Right.
It might just be our undefinable life force. It might be the messy, beautiful, completely illogical reality of human emotion. The very things we sometimes try to suppress in favor of being quote-unquote rational are exactly what make us the most precious anomaly in the cosmos.
I couldn't agree more. It's a profound reframing of the human experience.
It is.
And to build on that, I want to leave you with one final thought to mull over. A little provocative idea to take with you today.
Let's hear it.
In the climax of this narrative, We learned that these microscopic, quantum-entangled organisms from a distant moon are already here.
Right, they integrated.
They hitch rides on raindrops, they entered our water cycle, they're woven into our air, our soil, and even our own bodies, silently connecting us all in a latent telepathic web.
Okay.
So think about humanity's current trajectory. We have this relentless, almost obsessive drive to build a global internet.
Yeah.
We are constantly pushing toward creating an artificial intelligence hive mind, hooking every device, every piece of knowledge, and eventually every thought into a unified cloud.
Where are you going with this?
What if that drive isn't actually our own invention?
Oh, boy.
What if our obsession with creating a digital, interconnected superbrain is actually a subconscious urge, planted in us by these ancient microbial travelers?
We're kidding.
What if we are just unwittingly following their blueprint, driven by a biological imperative to recreate the vast, interconnected Titan consciousness right here on Earth?
Oh, wow.
Something to think about.
That is a thought that is going to keep me up tonight. Are we building the internet or are they?
Exactly.
That wraps up our deep dive for today. Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring, and remember to appreciate the messy, beautiful reality of being human.
Dreaming with eyes open, Storydoy.